The Larimer Small Business Development Center is a partnership of the U.S. Small Business Administration, Colorado SBDC, and Front Range Community College. In locations throughout Larimer County, we offer free confidential consulting, educational business training, and connections. We are committed to helping local businesses start, grow, and prosper through street smart business education and assistance.
Hey there, I'm Franklin Taggart with Larimer SBDC. I am a client navigator with the SBDC, and also as a consultant, I do a lot of work with people, small business owners in the area of marketing. This series, Foundations of Marketing, is a series that we put together to help small business owners really understand some of the basics of marketing and to really get a good start with some marketing strategy, marketing plans, customer identification, and things of that nature. If you joined us for the first class in the series, you understood about the personality of your business, which is your brand. And we also talked about relationship-based marketing. In part 3, Craig McBreen is going to be talking to you about getting found online. And in this particular class, we're going to be talking about identifying your customer and creating a basic marketing strategy. So we've got a lot to cover. There are going to be some things to write down and some notes to take. If you haven't already downloaded worksheets, you'll be given an opportunity to do that later in the video. But the worksheets should be available either in the class description or in the email confirmation that you received about the class. So moving right along. Why should I identify my customer? Most businesses make the mistake, most first-time business owners make the mistake of thinking that their business really is for anyone. And that may be very true. I don't know, but very few businesses actually are for everyone. And a lot of times I think the reason that they wonder why they should identify their customer is because they really don't have the idea yet of who their real customer is. Now, one of the things that I'll tell you is that reaching everyone is expensive. So unless you're a company like Coke, Pepsi, Burger King or McDonald's, if you're a company that can afford a Super Bowl ad, you can probably afford to reach a lot of people. But for the small business owner, usually that's not the case. So identifying your customer clearly helps you to save resources, both time, money, effort, all of the above, in reaching customers with your message. The other part of identifying your customer is that it makes your messaging easier. If your customer is not clearly defined, it's really difficult to create relevant messaging for them, to educate them about your product. And it also is difficult for them to understand why they should be interested in you, your company, your products and services. Now, the other thing that I would say is that there are actually some people who are more ready than others. And that's one of the reasons that you should identify your customer, is we really want to identify the people who are most ready for the product, service, event, whatever that you offer, right? We want to find the people who are the most ready. So identifying your customer will help you to do that. Now, another question. It's like, look at all of these different people. Now, this is even, as I look at the image here, this isn't even a very diverse group. So the fact is that in this group of people, there are some people that are your customers and some people who aren't. And you may even not find them in this lineup, right? So as we start to get out into the world and we start to interact with people, it's really helpful for us to know who we're looking for and who we want to engage with and who we want to talk to. Who does your business serve? In other words, you're going to hear all of these different buzzes in the marketing realm. Who's your ideal customer, or who's your ideal client? What is your customer avatar? What is your target market? What is your customer persona? What is your market segment? What is your niche? All of these things, I think, are asking the same question. And that is, who is it that you're trying to reach with your business? Who is it that your business is for? And you're going to find hundreds of opportunities to identify your customer. This was an online search for customer avatar. And you can see that there are, and this was just like the first 25 results or 20 results. It's like there are literally thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of worksheets, classes, books on identifying your ideal customer. And we're going to try and add to that here with a very clear process of identifying the customer that you are trying to reach. Another way of saying it is that we want to find out who needs to find your business and how are we going to help them find it. So this class is all about that. It's about helping you identify who needs to find your business and then creating a strategy to help them find it. That simple. Here's what we're going to learn. We're going to identify who needs to find your business products or services. We're going to learn as much about them as we can. And we're going to give them simple, understandable ways to find you and every reason to buy. So here's an opportunity to download the worksheet. We're going to be working through some writing exercises as we identify your customer. This is the customer ID worksheet, and there's a link for this in the class description or in the email that you were sent as a confirmation. All right, so the first thing that we're going to be talking about is how to identify the customer situation, their pain points, and a desired outcome. Now, there are some people who actually like to leave this for last in this exercise. I'm going to go ahead and put it first since it's at the top of the page. But there are some people that have found that after they've completed the rest of the information on the worksheet, that this is a little bit easier to come by. But the situation that they're in is really important. And I think for some people, it's actually easier to describe the situation before you can actually describe the person that you're trying to reach. We all know what our products are, and we all know what our services are. And we all have an idea of the situations that call for those products and services. And that's really what we would want to start with here. Now, the pain points are things that are like unfulfilled desires, unmet needs. It may be that they have a deep sense of dissatisfaction about where they are in their life or their career or their business or whatever it is that they're doing. And they want something different than what they've been getting. And so this section is a place where you can summarize the situation, the pain points, and the desired outcome. Now, the example that I'm going to be using is an example for a coaching organization that is intended to help powerful professional women network with each other and find new opportunities together that kind of help them get past the glass ceiling. So I'm going to be using that customer throughout as my example. So my customer is a woman aged 35 to 45 who has reached an unbearable level of dissatisfaction with her job. She's showing signs of burnout. She feels like she has no options. She wants to leave this job soon, but she has no idea what to do next. So that is the summary of the situation, the pain points, and the desired outcome that she has. At any time, if you want to pause this recording and fill out your worksheet as you go, I would encourage you to do that. So if you'd like to pause now, go ahead and do that. This next section of the worksheet is your customer's awareness level. Now, this may be a new concept for you to talk about or to think about. The customer awareness level is something that is fairly well known in marketing and advertising circles. There was a book by a man named Eugene Schwartz back in like the 1960s that was called Breakthrough Advertising. And in that, he articulated 5 levels of awareness. I've included 6 levels of awareness, and I've changed a little bit of the ID around those levels to make it a little bit more to my liking. And that's what I've gotten here. But real quickly, the different levels of awareness are where your customer is. Now, if they're the level of awareness called symptom awareness, they're aware of some level of discomfort or dissatisfaction or something that they would like to change, but they don't necessarily associate that yet with a specific problem. If they are at the problem level of awareness, they are aware of a specific problem or a specific cause that's behind the symptoms that they're experiencing. In the solution awareness, they're aware of some solutions. Maybe they've started to do Google searches about the problem. They know what the problem is. They've started to do some Google searches, and they've started to look at all of the different options that are available. And they're starting to evaluate those. Now, yours needs to be found among this group of solutions, somehow or another. And when we talk about the brand awareness, they're aware of your specific solution. And they understand its value and why it's their preferred option. We need to be able to make the case for our brand at this level of awareness. The next level of awareness is they've actually had a firsthand experience with our company, with our product, or with our service. It's a firsthand experience that they can then use as their main source of evaluating whether it's the right thing for them to continue. They can see whether they're satisfied with the outcome or not. And then finally, the last level of awareness is one that I call loyal. They're actively advocating for your brand because they've had a very positive experience, right? So the thing that I'd like you to think about is your customer, the ones that you know of right now. What level of awareness are they operating at? And then just simply circle it. Or if you're using the fillable form, there's a checkbox that corresponds with each answer. Now, if you have a difficult time really figuring out what level of awareness they're at, you don't necessarily have to decide that right now. Or you can just guess and then come back later and see if their level of awareness matches what you think it is. So moving on, we're going to talk about demographics now. The demographic is basic information about your customer. This is the common information that we look for usually first. Gender, age, race sometimes is a part of the makeup. Where they're located, what their occupation is, their income level, education, whether or not they own or rent their home. Do they own a vehicle? What kind of vehicle do they have? What is their relationship status? Do they have children, and what ages? Do they have any political affiliations? Now, this is also going to come up in another area as well. And what do they consider, what do they perceive their social class as? Is it a working class? Is it a middle class? Is it the 1%, however they would see themselves is what I would encourage you to use as their determination of their social class. Now, some of this information some people consider sensitive, and other people really get challenged by it, whether it's relevant or not. But I would ask you to just be honest about your product or service. It's like, if I'm selling a certain product that is intended for women, and I'm trying to be inclusive by making my messaging for men too, it probably is diluting the message that I actually want to send to the customer that I actually intended my product for. So sometimes things like gender, age, and race are important when we're considering a product or a service that we're selling. So I know that this information can be perceived as sensitive, but in this case, it may be important and relevant to the things that you're offering. For my customer demographic example, my customer is a woman with a Hispanic background, aged 43, who's been a litigator for 16 years. She lives in the Denver area and makes over $300,000 a year. She has a JD degree and several legal certifications. She owns a home and a resort condo. She's divorced with no kids. She's a registered Democrat, but has voted for several Republicans in state and local elections, and she considers herself upper middle class. Go ahead and spend some time filling out your demographic, and when you're ready, we'll move on. The next area that we're going to be talking about is the customer psychographic. Now, the psychographic data that you're going to get is more about the person's who they are personally. It's their personality. It's their kind of baseline emotional state. It can include, concerns that they have or social, social awareness that they've got, or things that they're worried about in the world. What are the desires that they have, both large scale and small scale? What is their life stage right now? Are they kind of at that quarter life crisis? Or are they in their middle age? Or are they in their later years? Are they ready for retirement? Are they approaching a transitional point in their career? What is their life stage? And then finally, in the psychographic, one of the things that I really like to look at is what do they consider their significant roles or their significant experiences? My example for my psychographic data is my customer is a confident professional woman, but she feels like a failure in personal relationships. She's reached a point of burnout in her job and is certain she won't be offered a partnership in her law firm. She's worried that she's spending the best years of her life pursuing a dead end, and she wants freedom. She's entering midlife and is ready for a change and ready for more. She wants a primary relationship. She's a leader in her professional and social communities, but she's estranged from her family and her Hispanic culture. So go ahead and take some time and fill out your psychographic information. And when you're ready, we'll move to the next area. In this area, we're going to be talking about the lifestyle that the person has. Lifestyle data helps us to understand what's important to them and how they like to spend their time. Now, the areas that I really like to look at here are core values, their media engagement, shopping and brands that are important to them, events that they like to attend, health and fitness beliefs and behaviors, and religion and spirituality fit into this picture as well. Now, one of the questions that I've had people ask is, why is this stuff important? Well, one of the things that you may find is that when you're trying to reach your customer, that their lifestyle actually gives you channels to reach them that are kind of outside of the realm of their profession. And it may be that those channels are places where they actually are more likely to find your messaging. Interestingly enough, many of the clients that I find through things like online book groups and online hobby and interest pages and Pinterest and things like that have absolutely nothing to do with business, marketing, or creative careers. However, through those lifestyle channels, somehow or another, we form a relationship, and I find clients through those channels. So this lifestyle data may not seem like it's centrally important, but quite honestly, it can give you an avenue through which to reach people. So for my example, my customer values fairness and justice, and she practices a high level of honesty and integrity. The media channels that she connects with daily are BBC America and New York Times. She shops mostly at upscale boutiques, and her professional suits are tailored. She attends professional conferences and socially enjoys pop concerts and music festivals like Coachella. She's been to Burning Man once, but didn't like it. She attends Zumba classes 3 times a week. She left the Catholic Church when she was in college and has since started practicing yoga and transcendental meditation. So those kinds of things are just ways that I can understand my client with a little bit more dimension. Go ahead and fill that out for your client as well, for your customer. And then we'll move on. Now, finally, we're going to be talking about their special interests. Again, these things are interesting in terms of that they give you a broader picture of the person that you are trying to reach. Again, it opens up other channels that you may find surprisingly useful in reaching people and in cultivating relationships with potential customers. And it also, there's a lot of competition in those areas that are kind of obvious for marketing and advertising. Like, let's say that I was trying to reach my person specifically through LinkedIn advertising. I'm not going to say that that's the bad thing to do, but it's also the place where there's the most competition for their attention. I might be able to reach them more easily through these side channels because there's not as much competition for their attention in those areas for the same thing that I'm offering. So again, interests are a way to understand them a little bit more, with more dimensionality, with more detail, and to give you, more possibilities of interaction and connection. So, hobbies and activities, the things that they enjoy reading, the broadcast media and podcasts that they listen to, social media pages and groups, community involvement, and political involvement. Now, what's the difference between this and their lifestyle? Well, this is actually just more lifestyle, if you ask me, but it's a little bit more about how they like to spend their free time. My customer enjoys spending time writing and cooking when she has time, which is rare. Her favorite reading are classics and literary fiction, although she has a stack of mature romance novels she likes to read by the pool. She listens to many of the public radio podcasts like Ira Glass and Krista Tippett. She won't watch American broadcast news because they seem too biased. So BBC is her news source. She binge watches series like Orange is the New Black on Netflix. Her only social media activity is sporadic on Instagram and LinkedIn. She's a leader in her local Rotary Club and participates in TEDx Mile High, both as a volunteer and as a speaker. She supports progressive Democrat and independent candidates and occasionally will support opponents of right-wing candidates in Republican primaries. Her other political involvement probably is going to be something along the lines is that she may participate in campaigns and fundraising and things like that. So as we start to get this picture of this person that we're trying to reach, now we're starting to understand who this person really is. Now we know who we're looking for. The situation, plus the pain points, plus the desires, plus the awareness, plus the demographic, plus the psychographic, plus the lifestyle, plus the interest equals this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, this person. So now all of a sudden, the clarity that we have makes it easier for us to go out and find who we're looking for, right? Knowing more about your customer makes it easier to market. Now, there is a really important kind of a tool that's been developed over the last several years. We used to have Rolodexes back in the old days, and Rolodexes was this thing with cards that you could keep a card for everybody that was in your contact list. And on your card, you would just write down any information that you could that you could glean about that person. Well, the new Rolodex is called a customer relationship management app, or customer relationship management software, or CRM. Now, there are dozens of these things out in the world. Probably the most commonly known are ones like Salesforce. Infusionsoft was an automation software that is now called Keap, K-E-A-P, but it includes a CRM. Those have a tendency to be really large, and they're really kind of intended for larger organizations and corporations. Small businesses, I think, have better options available to them. I've tried a couple of ones that I've really liked a lot, that are they're smaller, they're easier. One actually is a part of another program called Notion, and Notion is just kind of an organizing program, but it has a really good customer relationship and marketing and sales tracking feature that it's very easy. And the personal version of Notion is free. There's no charge for it. So what I encourage you to do is to do some research on CRMs and take advantage of the free trials and see if there's one that has all the features that you need and that's in your price range, and that helps you to kind of keep track of all the information that you need to keep track of for your customer relationships. There's always more research that you can do. Now, it's not just about your customer. Sometimes you want to know about your competition. Sometimes you want to know about your concept. Sometimes you want to know about consumer behavior. Sometimes you want to know about industry trends. Your customer research is really just the beginning. And so all of these other kinds of research are important to your business as well. And one of the things that I want you to know as a Larimer County resident is that if you don't have a research budget, we have a resource in our county that's just absolutely amazing. It's actually in the Poudre Library District, and they have a business librarian on staff. Now, the business librarian that we currently have is also a staff member at the SBDC, and you can request appointments online through our website with the business librarian to help you with some of your market and business research. It's up to date. She's got deep databases, and this research is available to you at no cost. If you want to schedule, you can go right to the website and go to the contact page and click on Contact Business, and that'll get you right to the business librarian. All right, now we're going to take an intermission here. Let's just take a stretch, get away from the screen for a few minutes, and then we're going to come back and we're going to be talking about marketing strategy. All right, now that we've figured out who our ideal customer is and all the information that we have put together about that person, now let's talk about marketing strategy. Now, marketing strategy can take a lot of shapes, and there's no one absolute way that it needs to be done every time. And in fact, there are a number of different types of strategy that are available out there. The one that I'm going to show you is one that's fairly well known, and it's used by a lot of smaller businesses just to make sure that you're including everything that you can in your strategy that will help it be a successful way of reaching customers and educating them about the products and services and experiences that you have to offer them. So we're going to get started with marketing strategy. The way that I like to think about marketing strategy is that it is like it's like giving your customers a treasure map that takes them from where they are now to where they want to be. So your marketing strategy is setting up kind of a path for your customers to take to get from where they are to having used your product and having had a satisfactory experience with it, and all of the steps in between. And so we're going to go through, what does a strategy like that look like? Now, we also need to understand a distinction between marketing and selling, and there is one to be had. Most of the time, when we're thinking of marketing, a lot of times we get it confused with actual, making the sale. There is a difference to be had, and so I wanted to talk a little bit about what that is. One way of understanding it is that selling happens when a customer is ready to buy, and marketing is what you do to get them ready. So that's one way to look at it. It's like marketing is all of the steps that it takes to get people up to the point where they are ready to make the purchase, and selling is simply leading them through the steps that they need to do to finish the deal. Now, Joe Polish is a famous marketer, and one of the things that he talks about is that marketing gets people in the door, or in his case, he talks about marketing gets people on the phone, and selling happens once they're in. So again, marketing is something that the activities that you use to get your customer to the point that they're ready to buy, and then selling is helping them to get the transaction taken care of. Nice distinction to make. Now, the first tool that I'm going to introduce to you in marketing strategy is a strategy map. Now, strategy mapping is a process that I like to use both for individual campaigns and for overall marketing, like an overall marketing plan. The strategy map is one that can be used in a lot of different cases. But one of the things that I like about it is that most strategies are either product-centered or customer-centered, and they don't treat each one of those equally. And I think the strategy map treats each part of this process with some equality, so that it makes sure that you're not leaving anything out. So we're going to go through this in depth and in step by step. There is a worksheet that you're going to be able to download here in just a minute that will help you through this process. But before we do that, let's go ahead and go through the 9 parts of the strategy map. Now, the first one that we're going to talk about is the person. Now, we've just gone through a process of identifying your customer. So this part of it we're not going to spend a lot more time on, but really knowing the person that you are trying to reach is probably the most important part of your marketing strategy. The next thing that we need to understand is the problem that they present. Now, this problem, it could be anything from being really dissatisfied with their situation. It could be that they're trying to solve a problem or do something, and they don't have the tools or the know-how or the strength to get it done. So that we've got to look at the problem and understand the problem as completely as we can as well. Now, our product needs to fill a need, and the need is to solve the problem that they've presented. So if we've got a product or a service or an experience or some kind of a program, it needs to fill a known need for the person that we're trying to work with. We need to also be able to put our products and services into offers that are easy to understand, that are easy to access, and easy to act upon. Next step is to craft a message that will help people kind of know what to do and how to access the offer. Then there needs to be a channel where that message shows up. We're going to be also talking about a process that people go through, that are the steps and stages from being an unknown person to us to being a customer. We also need to have an outcome in mind for our strategy. And really, if we can make it measurable, that's great, because the other thing that we need in our strategy is some kind of a metric to measure how we're doing with this strategy. Is it getting across? Is it actually leading to sales? Is it leading to the next stage in the customer relationship? All of those things are important. So these 9 things are a part of the strategy map. We're going to go through each one in detail now. If you'd like to download the worksheet, there's a link for that worksheet either in your class description or in the email confirmation that you received. It's okay to fill it out as you go, and it's also okay if there are blanks that you have to leave them and answer them later. If you need to pause the recording, feel free to do that. We're going to start with our customer. You can use a worksheet like the one we just covered to identify your target customer. Now, sometimes at the beginning of strategizing, it's okay to work with a scaled down version of the customer persona. As an example, in this case, I'm going to be looking for a professional woman ages 35 to 45. She's in a field like legal, business, management, executive. She also might be an organizational leader. She lives in a city of over 150,000 in population. She's single or divorced with no kids. She's active in social, cultural, and philanthropic activities, and she may be estranged from her family or culture of origin. Now, the problem that she's presenting: unfulfilled dreams and desires, unmet needs and goals, deep dissatisfaction, and unable to envision a hopeful outcome may be obstacles in the way. Now, I forgot to remind you that as we go, if you need to pause the recording to fill out the sheet for each one of these categories, feel free to do that. Or you can just wait until after we're done and use the video as kind of a reference if you need to come back and refresh your memory about any of the areas on the worksheet. The example that I'll use in this situation, the problem that my customer is displaying is that after over a decade in her career, she's reached the end of her opportunity for advancement. She wants to do more, and she wants to stretch for even higher accomplishments, but she feels trapped where she is. She's thought about leaving her job, but she's gotten used to a multiple 6-figure salary and lifestyle. Her highest risk right now is burnout. So we understand the problem. We've written that down as articulately as we can, and now we're going to move on to the product. Now, the product is your specific solution to their problem in the form of a physical product, a service, an activity, an event, a community, or a combination. It could be anything that they would perceive as valuable, worth buying, that you can offer, a resource that you can put in their hands for a price. So, in this case, the Professional Women's Opportunity Network is the product that I am promoting, and it's a membership organization for women who are ready to step beyond the arbitrary and cultural limitations of the corporate and organizational world. The network offers leadership training, outside-the-box personal and professional development, local and regional networking opportunities, an international conference, and a referral system for further professional advancement. So you can see that the product here is a solution to the problem that we identified just previously. Let's take a look at the offer. Now, when we start looking at the offer, we want to talk about how the product is packaged and presented. We want to talk about anticipated results. We want to talk about the features and benefits of it, where and how to access it, pricing and payment options. We want to answer objections and reduce their perceived risk. So we want them to perceive this as a better option than not taking action at all. So this is the offer for Professional Women's Opportunity Network. Membership includes 1 admission pass to the International Conference in Washington, D.C. in April, monthly and quarterly networking mixers in their local area and region, inclusion in the membership directory and professional referral service, 3 international service project opportunities each year. I'm making it easy for them to enroll. They can visit the website and join. To give them an opportunity to try it without risk, they can do the first month for free. And all of the above are available for them for an annual fee of $2,000 or $200 a month if paid monthly. So we've made it affordable. We've made it packed full of value. And so now they have a package that they can respond to. Now, my marketing message is something that attracts attention, fosters trust and empathy. It positions the company and offer as the best solution. It invites people to take a specific next step and offers an easy point of access for that step to be taken. So in my offer, I've already identified a lot of this stuff, but I'm going to reiterate it in the message. But the message also needs to be something that helps people to see the value of something really quickly. So here's my headline. After all these years climbing the ladder, you hoped to be further along. Now, there's a little bit of a tag here, yet younger people with less experience keep passing you by. So in that headline, I'm really addressing the problem and the pain points that this person has. I'm going to help them to know that I empathize with their situation, that they have worked too long, they've worked too hard for too long to now be faced with closed doors and glass ceilings. Professional Women's Opportunity Network is looking for women just like you. We are a dynamic and vital international organization who are dedicated to creating and opening new doors for each other. We offer lucrative networking events, high-level professional development, and referral services and leadership opportunities around the world. To start your free 1-month trial membership, visit our website here. Now this message is going to lead directly to a landing page. It'll be a link that'll take them right to the place where they can sign up for their first month for free. So after you've gotten the message worked out, there are a couple of things that I want you to notice here. Messages need to be as plain and simple as they can be, but they still need to be compelling. We don't want to have too much information, and we don't want to have not enough information, and we also don't want it to just be over the top selling all the time. We want it to be something that's relevant to them, that tells a story that they can relate to in a brief form. And we also want to make sure that we include a way for them to take a next step and give them a specific action to take in order to make that next step happen. And I wanted to mention too that I offer other classes on messaging just by itself, because messaging for a lot of people tends to be the one place that they feel like that they can improve. I believe that we can always be better communicators. All right, now we're going to talk about the channels. The channel is the way that people make contact with their customers, right? Your channel is the way that you are getting in touch with your customers. Now, I want you to notice that I'm not saying the word channels here. I don't necessarily believe that we have to have 15 different ways to reach our customer. We just need to have one really good one. So one of the things that I encourage small business owners in particular to work on first is to develop one channel that is going to be your primary channel. Now, a primary channel is checked frequently. It has the highest level of activity. You are more active there than anywhere else. And it's perceived as valuable by the person on the receiving end, right? Now, primary channels can be anything. It can be. I've seen people use, there's a guy named Lucas O'Keefe who's an Instagram expert, and Lucas is only really active on Instagram, but he's active there all the time. He puts high value content on Instagram several times a day, and he teaches people how to use Instagram to build their business. Great business model. But he's there all the time. He doesn't need to have a lot of other ways of staying in touch. He does have an email list, but that's more of a secondary channel for him. And he also has a LinkedIn, which is also another secondary channel. All of his roads lead to Instagram. So your primary channel, it can be anything, but I would look at the place where you are the most engaged personally. Where do you spend most of your time, and which one do you enjoy the most? I found, I tried to do email for a very long time, tried to do weekly emails, And I ultimately found that I didn't enjoy that as much as I enjoyed podcasting. So one of the things that I started to do was I started to do a frequent podcast, and I would cross-post my podcast on my blog and in emails and in places like that. So my primary channel was my podcast, and my secondary channels were all things that kind of supported the podcast. So secondary channels are checked more sporadically. You don't have a lot of activity there, but you're still there to be found. Little or no activity. You may not have, like if you do put a post, you may not notice a large amount of interaction with it. And then the value is conditional in a secondary channel. It's like a lot of times the perceived value of the secondary channel, sure, you can use it as a place to deliver valuable experiences, but usually the thing that happens is that the value of the secondary channel is in bringing people to the primary channel, right? So look at the channels that you have, the ways that you can reach your customers, and determine which ones are your primary channels and which ones are secondary. And really build up the activity that you do on your primary channels and let your secondary channels serve that, okay? All right, so now that we've learned about marketing channels, we're going to be talking now about processes. Now, in processes, there are different tools that are available for the work that you are doing. And one of the most popular marketing tools is the funnel. A funnel is just a way to understand the steps and the stages between a person becoming unaware to becoming a loyal customer. And I'll just walk you through one example of how a funnel can be set up so that you can understand how it's set up to work. Now the process is going from a wide opening at the top to a narrow opening at the bottom. We'll talk a little bit about what happens at each stage. So at stage one has the widest reach, and it responds to questions and concerns, most of the time related to symptoms. So a really good example of this would be a blog post that you've written about. In the case that I've been working with, if I've written a blog post about women who have reached the glass ceiling in their profession and they are ready to break out, but they don't have any options that they are aware of short of just walking out of the job that they hate. So I've written an article about that. Now that article's on my blog. Maybe I've published it in a local newspaper or in a regional business magazine, or maybe I have published it on Huffington Post or on an online publication like that. But it has the widest reach, and it talks about the symptoms related to the problem. So in this case, we're talking about the woman's burnout, we're talking about her dissatisfaction, and we're talking about her sense of hopelessness in not knowing if she has any viable options. So stage two, I help her to identify the root cause of the symptoms that she's having, and I give the problem a name. So in this case, the glass ceiling might be a really good name to give the problem, or that the door that they want to have open is closed shut, or something along those lines. But really the problem here is that they've reached the maximum level of opportunity in their profession that they are now able to reach, and they don't have prospects for going further. At stage three, I offer a specific solution that's positioned as the best possible option for the customer. This is where I introduce the Women's Professional Network so that they can have a community of people who are basically at a similar place in life and who are helping each other to create and find better opportunities for themselves. And then stage four, I help them reach a buying decision, and I offer more support and added value. So the way that I help them reach a buying decision is to offer the free trial and the special discount for the annual payment versus the monthly payment. And maybe I'll even include a discount for people who take the free trial as a way to help them decide to go ahead and purchase. But all four of these stages are a part of the process, right? Now, you can get really, really detailed about marketing funnels. There are a couple of tools that I really like. One of them is called Geru, Geru, and it is now owned by a company called ClickFunnels. Now, ClickFunnels is a funnel management software. For most people, ClickFunnels is too big of a bear to wrestle. But if you've got especially if you've got a lot of products and you want to create online marketing strategies and processes for those, ClickFunnels and Geru are really good kinds of resources for you to check out. Now, the next part of what we're talking about in our strategy is we want to set some specific goals. And let's say that for the campaign that I am putting together for the Professional Women's Opportunity Network, we're going to be measuring the enrollment goals that they have. So we want to increase traffic to their landing page by 200%. So where it is currently, by the end of the year, we want that traffic to have gone up by at least double. We want to increase the free trial subscriptions by 100%. So we want the free trials to start really moving. And then of those free trials that go out, we'd love to see 65% of the free trials turn into paid membership. Okay, so those goals are measurable. They're ones that are reasonable compared to what we've already done. They're kind of based on our numbers from last year, or they're based on some reasonable projections for this year. And they're ones that we can understand and we can measure against. Now, finally, the last part of our marketing strategy is to have a metric. Now, we need to have methods to track and analyze the progress and success, and we need to help. This information is to help us to make better decisions about how we market as our business grows and develops. Now, notice here we've got the three things that we talked about as outcomes that we're measuring: page views, free trials, and new members. And over the course of 2022, it looks like page views was actually exceeded by, it was exceeded by just a little bit. And every other area, free trials was exceeded by a little bit. And new members, probably by the end of the year, we were at 65%. So the metric there, we were able to find out, how our marketing campaign performed. So I've created a worksheet for you to download that is about a marketing funnel. Now, this marketing funnel is one where you would define a content strategy for content that you create to put out into your audience. Again, you can fill out the worksheet as much as you want to in detail right now, or you can wait until later, or you can pause the recording and fill it out as you need to. But this is the worksheet and basically what we're looking for. At stage one, I'm going to write a series of articles on women in the corporate glass ceiling for local, regional, and national publications and blogs. I'm going to link to a video landing page. Stage 2, the video introduces page visitors to the network and invites them to the free trial and includes bonus thank you gifts. Stage 3, their free trial gift includes access to the member directory, a high-level self-development ebook, free consultation, special offer for 20% off their first year's membership if they opt in for the annual rate. Member initiation package includes a workshop for optimizing member directory entries, a 3-part training series, and a new member orientation mixer where they will be introduced to the community. So you can see at each level, the content is both demonstrating and asking for another level of commitment as we go deeper into the funnel, right? So each stage of the funnel asks for another level of commitment in the customer relationship. So we just need to remember the customer awareness levels that we talked about earlier. We have the symptom level, where we want to help people associate their symptoms with the root cause. The problem level, name it and offer immediate relief. Solution, seek, compare, and evaluate solutions. The brand, we want to position our solution as the best one. Experiential awareness, firsthand knowledge of the solution that we offer. And loyal. All right, now I want you to notice something. This is a target shape, but if I were to turn this up on its side, this also would be a funnel, right? So one of the things that you can use the customer awareness levels for is to structure the information that you put into your funnel, right? And it also can help you to define the opportunities that you offer at each level of the funnel as well. So the customer awareness levels, I think, is a really powerful way to categorize and understand where your customer is in the process, and it will help you to be more effective in the response that you give them based on where they are. Now, the example that I like to give is that you don't want to meet a customer who's only just aware of a symptom right now. You don't want to meet them with a brand solution that they're not quite ready for. That would be akin to, asking for a serious commitment before the first date has even started. So if they're working at the symptom level, we really want to meet them there. And then as we meet them there and guide them along the way, we become a helpful guide through their process of getting what they want, which is relief. They want relief from the problem. They want the problem to be solved. They want the dissatisfaction to be a thing of the past. They want the unmet needs and desires to be history. They want fulfillment, right? And so what we are doing through these strategies is we're guiding them one step at a time from where they are now to where they want to be. Now, you know who you're trying to reach, and you have a plan to lead them to the outcome they want. So again, we've got all of these people that we've identified through our customer ID worksheet. And now we also have a strategy that's going to help us get our offer in front of them and help lead them to becoming our customer. All right. So here's some free advice. Experiment and explore. Marketing is one of the most interesting parts of business, and one of the reasons that I like it so much is that the landscape in marketing changes constantly. There are new challenges, and there are new trends, and there are new things to keep up with. There are new kinds of creativity that come around. Be willing to experiment and explore, and understand that everything has a shelf life. The things that you use to cultivate customer relationships now may be very different next year or even next month at this point. So be willing to experiment and explore and find creative ways to do your marketing. Find marketing mentors and role models in your industry. Look for the ones who are finding success and really analyze what is it that they're doing, and ask them, is there something that you're doing there that I'm missing? Is there something is there something behind the scenes that I need to be aware of that is leading to your success? And then finally, steal ideas liberally. Good artists sweat, great artists steal is, I think, the saying that I've heard before. Same could be said for marketers and business people. If somebody's idea is working, there's a reason that it's working, and it's worth a try. So don't be hesitant to go out and try things that other people are doing, because they just may work for you as well. That said, still try to stay unique as much as you can in your presentation, in your message, in your tactics, because you may be the one that other people need to steal from, right? When things stop working, try new things. That's the bottom line. And things will stop working. The tactics that I used a year ago, and I'm not even close to that now. So let's talk about what's next. I want you to start using the information from your worksheets and create a strategy for one of your products or services. And now that you know better who your ideal customer is, go online and start searching for people who match your customer description and start a list. Get that CRM and start filling it out with potential customers. Now, how do you find potential customers? Well, the thing that's really nice is that now that you know who they are, you can do more detailed searching on places like LinkedIn if you're a B2B kind of professional business. Or if it's a consumer business, you can go on Instagram and you can do searches on Instagram for people who match your keywords. And you could also use hashtags that match your keywords. It's easier now, I think, to find the person that you're looking for now that you know more about who they are. And then finally, I'm going to encourage you to schedule a consultation. If you're a business owner in Larimer County, our consultations at the SBDC are free to you. And there's no reason why you should pass this by. We have over 40 consultants, and they base their knowledge on hundreds of years of experience combined, and we can help you get from where you are now to where you want to be in your business, right? So schedule a consultation. It won't cost you anything but your time, and we'll get you on track. So I am Franklin Taggart, and I am a business and marketing consultant, both with the SBDC. I also do some private consulting and coaching. I work primarily with solopreneurs and freelancers in the creative industries as both a career and a business coach. I also have a blog and a podcast. They're both findable at franklintaggart.com. And you can find my handy dandy contact form there as well. I'd love to hear from you if this has been a helpful class. I teach other classes for the SBDC. There are several online. There's an intro to content marketing. There's one called Marketing Through Teaching. And I've got a couple of others, one other in this series as well. And I also do some live classes for the SBDC as well. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is to get on our website, larimersbdc.org, and find out a lot more about the things that we offer and the things that we do. We're here to help local businesses grow, and we're here for the life of your business. You also can find us on every social media platform known to humans. I don't know if we're on TikTok yet, but that's probably going to change soon. And we thank our sponsors immensely for all that they make possible through the SBDC. Again, come and find us at larimersbdc.org. And thank you for participating in this class. So long.
Thank you for participating in this online learning opportunity from the Larimer Small Business Development Center. Before you leave, why don't you schedule a free consulting session with one of our professional business consultants? You can request your appointment right from our website. While you're on the website, be sure to check out all of our upcoming programs, events, and workshops that we'll be offering in the near future. To stay up to date with all that's happening at the Larimer SBDC, we invite you to join our email list and to follow us on your favorite social media platforms. Remember that we are here to help you start, build, and grow a successful business.